Hello, everyday leaders. I am so excited. Tonight is Thursday. It is April the 29th. And I am so excited tonight because I have one of my great friends with me, the Everyday Leaders platform, coming to you from Indianapolis. I am Melahni Ake. We are streaming tonight on YouTube, LinkedIn, and across all the Facebook pages. So get your journals out. First of all, if you have a story that's in your heart that you're ready to tell, my friend tonight, Denola Burton, I'm going to bring her on here, and she is going to help you figure out the steps so that you can write your book and get it published. So without further ado, here she comes. Denola Burton, hello.
Hello, 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 hello.
Girl, I am so excited that you were on Everyday Leaders Live. This is awesome.
I am so excited to be here. I mean, I see you with all of the everyday leaders, and I just can only hope to be as uh, influencing and a leader to all of your viewers, because I know that they're here for a purpose. And I see Chip Baker saying, "Go get it." So let's go get it.
Let's go get it. Absolutely. And Gigi Sabat. Hi, Gigi. Hello.
Hello,
Good
hello.
evening. Thanks for joining us, guys, as we kick this off here. Those of you that don't know Denola, oh my goodness, our story, I just have to tell you this. We are both John Maxwell certified speakers, trainers, and coaches. And that's how our story began. But a few years ago, you reached out to me, Denola, and you said, "Hey, I have this idea. I want to write this book to include a bunch of women that I believe have a story that I want to bring into this vision." And you pulled me in, and I was like, "Are you serious?" Like, I don't know how to do this. You were such a great mentor to me to help me through I didn't even think that I had anything to say. That was the real kind of like aha moment for me. And not that if you read the book that I have anything that like earth-shattering. It was just the validation that you saw when people share something on their heart that they've gone through, how it can really transform them as an individual to write it. And then you to help us create that vision and get it published. And I don't know, I'm forever grateful to you.
Well, I tried to find people that I really did feel had a story to tell and could help others, because that was the purpose of the book. Because the book was mentoring moments, and it really was about people who may not have had mentors in their life, and yet there were many people that have been through a lot of things. And I think I found 14 pretty remarkable women that could tell their stories about challenges that they may have overcome them in order to be successful in life and in their careers. And so, yes, Everyday Leaders' story was amazing to be included in that book.
It was so much fun. You pulled me and you kept saying, "Do you have anything yet? We're on these timelines." And I was like, oh my gosh, the fear and the panic, right? That just comes through you to say, "I don't know if this is right." And so, but you, and I say this all the time, right? You were the one that really made me step into saying, I do have more of a story and it does need to be shared. And so I just appreciate you. I celebrate you all the time to people. And I say, the person that really made me start to think differently about what I could do was you. And the people that you have introduced me to have made a big impact. So I just love you. And I know, I want people to really hear about your previous life. Before you got into all of this, you have an amazing story, Denola. So take us back to, where you really started here in your journey and what your passion has been about.
Yeah, I know that there are people who have heard my story, but there may be people who don't realize that I am a scientist by training and background. I have a bachelor's and a master's in biology, and started my career doing cancer research pretty much. I came to Eli Lilly and Company, pharmaceutical company, and began my second part of my career, because that wasn't the first place I worked, But I began working there in, like I said, scientific areas. Um, I have always had some sort of ability to nurture others, and that was recognized in me at Lilly, and I was asked to move into an HR role, a human resources role, to see what I thought about it. And even if I didn't like it, I could take it back to my previous scientific area and just be better as a leader in the organization. But I fell in love with human resources. I fell in love with the ability to make a difference in people's lives, in their careers, help them remove barriers, help them be successful in their roles. And for the next 20 plus years, I excelled and loved the work that I was doing in HR. Oh, back in 2017, though, I was given the opportunity to do an early retirement. And so I took that opportunity to retire with my young self, and I went ahead and decided that I wasn't going to stop there, though. So I feel like I took the best parts of my HR career and I started this company called Enhanced DNA. And the DNA stands for develop, nurture, and achieve. So my goal really was to work mainly with nonprofit agencies because many of them don't have HR expertise in house. And if they do, they're stretched so thin that they really don't have an opportunity to develop their leaders. So I really wanted to work to help develop their leaders, nurture them so they could achieve their business objectives. So that was the starting point of my company after I retired. Um, I didn't stop there though. There were opportunities, things that I did in workshops. For example, I would tell stories in my workshops, and those stories were mainly about me, my life, and probably experiences that I had in my life, whether they were big or small. They oftentimes gave us some kind of a lesson. And through those lessons, I feel like that's kind of the legacy that I had. So I sort of decided to take those stories and write a book.
Hmm.
That's how I wrote my first book. It's called If You Really Knew Me, The Life, the Lessons, and the Legacy. And it's stories of my life, lessons that I learned, and some of the legacy that I'll be leaving, not only to my kids or my family, but to the people that I touch wherever I go. So that's the starting point of author in my life. But I'll tell you, I really didn't enjoy writing the book. I enjoyed publishing it. And so I began to look into publishing processes because I did self-publish that first book, but I knew that there were so many things that I didn't know about publishing. So I joined the Independent Book Publishing Association. I learned everything I could about publishing. I went to their publishing university and added a division to my Enhanced DNA company called Enhanced DNA Publishing. And since then, I think I have over 30 authors that I have helped publish their books. So I really work with new or newer authors to help publish their books, get their stories out there, and not only get their stories out there, but to get them out there so that they meet the standards of the Independent Book Publishing Association. And I'm just excited to say that so many of our books have received recognitions that I was just floored when our book started winning. One of the requirements that I provide to my authors is every book that is submitted and published through Enhanced DNA Publishing gets submitted for at least one national award process. And just this year, I've had one that was published in 2020 that was recognized through it was called the Book Excellence Awards. Last year, we had 3 that were recognized through the Best Book Awards that was sponsored by the American Book Fest. And so our books are competing with national companies, large publishing houses. And I'm just excited that whether it is those larger recognitions or just the Amazon bestsellers or Amazon #1 hot new releases, I'm just excited to say our books are competing.
It's
And I'm real excited about that.
it is awesome. I am going to oh, here's Oliver Reed. Hello, Dr. Reed. Great to see you tonight. He has been a big part of my life these last few months, encouraging me to get my story out. So,
Good.
it's all of the people that you're surrounding yourself with that have these niches, right? That can help you do so many things. Like when you're ready to get to the next level, that's what I love about you. You encourage people like get your story, let's get it published, and let's help you get it visible. So I wanted to share, I know we talked about this a little bit before we came on live, but going to your Enhanced DNA publishing site, here are the books. So I want you to take us through these and because it's so cool to see these little ribbons up here, an award and a winner. And like you said, I'm going to go back behind the scenes here and scroll through. If you would like to just kind of share a little bit about some of these books for us?
Sure. I'll talk about the first two listed here. They were just released. Both of them were just released this past month. Within this month, the paperbacks will be coming out next week. Both of those were hot new releases. #1 Amazon hot new releases, and both of them are first-time authors. The Beautiful Resilience is an amazing book. This is coordinated by a young lady named Deandra Dicus. Many of you may know her. She's nationally known. She spoke at the Democratic National Convention last year and has a major campaign against gun violence. Most of the women who have written stories, there are 10 women who have written stories in this book, and most of them have had a life-altering experience related to gun violence. Many of them who have lost a loved one. Deandra, whose son is going to be, he was impacted forever. He's not the same as he was when he was 12 years old and shot by a stray bullet. I don't know if it was stray or if it was intentional, but it wasn't an accident. Let's put it that way. Each of these women have told their stories. The second book there is called Hats and Cigars, and it is a brand new story. It's called Flaring and Pairing, and it's really about how to make a normal look of a hat be a statement. There is a culture in the cigar culture where you can pair your spirits and your cigars, and so this Michael Brown is a sommelier, certified sommelier, and he tells how you can be flaring and pairing with your hats and your cigars and your spirits. It's pretty cool.
I love that.
Yeah, and it was also a #1 hot new release on Amazon.
That is so awesome. Isn't that fun to see your creation, right? You live part of this journey with these authors, and then you get to celebrate all of this so much. And you are one, I can testify. You just take people through this journey and you're like, hey, I've done this, I can help you. And we know as leaders, right? You can't take someone where you've never been. And so you've been able to celebrate this with them. And so take us through the rest of these because I really
so Carnell's epic superhero story, as you can tell, this was written by a young boy. Carnell entered into a contest that Enhanced DNA Publishing sponsored last year called Young Writers. It was a Young Writers Day each year, just like the national calendar has national days. It was National Young Writers Day, and I sponsored a contest for anyone younger than 18. And Carnell's story was the winning entry. And we just published this book last month. And he is so excited to be a published author at 12 years old.
That is amazing.
Just released. I mean, We do pretty much any genre. And so you can see just from the first three very different genres, from children's book to fashion to memoir, spiritual self-help type. So we've got a variety of books in our repertoire of books. And that's why I say you can find your next read at Enhanced DNA, because we have such a variety of the different types of books. This Messiah's Servant was just released last month, and it's a Christian book, but guess what? It's fiction. It's a fiction book, but it starts out, it brings you straight into the crucifixion story, where this servant who the story is about helps Jesus on his way to the cross. And because of him helping Jesus, he was given favor to live up into current time. And it takes you through various significant things that happened in the world, like the Holocaust, slavery, lots of different things, all the way up until you might even see police action things that are going on in the world today.
Wow.
And the whole purpose of it is through a fictional account to help people see that Jesus is the way.
I love
It's amazing.
You just have such a plethora of these authors, and I don't know where you find all the time to do this, Denola. I know you've got a great team that also help you, and you're developing some really great tools for people that say, hey, I don't even know where to start, right?
Right. I mean, we have what we call publishing partners. I can't do it all. I am not a marketer. I'm not a graphic artist. I'm not an editor. And so we pull those people in to help us. I assess each manuscript that comes to us. And as I assess them, I will make a decision based off of the type of book, which graphic artist I'll refer to them, which editor I'll refer. And we have a great partnership of expertise. So Enhanced DNA Publishing is what I call high touch, high excellence. I want to stop you right here on the purple book. Yes. I Am That One Black Friend.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, if you are a Black person, or if you want to understand more about what a Black person may experience, sometimes being that one Black friend that somebody has to call on. This book was written by Cassandra Porter. Cassandra is a DEI, diversity inclusion expert. And she has written this book giving examples of things that you might not really think about, but think about the fact that the school you went to is representative of the people who make decisions about that school. And those are the pictures you'll see on the wall. And she said it wasn't until she went to a historically Black college that she saw the people in the pictures on the wall that were the same color as her. And so this book just won the recognition for, it was a finalist in the Book Excellence Awards just announced a couple of months ago. So that's pretty amazing. It was over $3,000 in prize winning, not cash, but services provided for marketing and different things. Amazing recognition.
Wow. Congratulations. That is amazing, Denola. I know you've got so many on here. I just wanted to scroll through because there's something for everybody, right? I remember where you were interviewing Clark Howard. I remember his story, and Sonal, she has
on there.
Workbook on here, and
that Stretching for Success workbook has become a major tool for her business, because that's her whole purpose, is to help people stretch in whatever they're doing. And her big thing is, have you stretched today?
Mhm.
And this workbook has become a great tool for her various workshops that she provides.
Ah,
So if you've
and it's
never heard Sonal speak, please reach out to Sonal Shetazawari, and you'd love to hear her talk about stretching beyond your comfort zone.
she is so passionate.
Yes,
She is an amazing person, and, the thing is, it's just sometimes you write things down and you don't really put them into a structure so that you can teach from it, and that's, I think, what COVID has done for a lot of people to say, "Hey, what do I already know? And
yeah,
then what could I take into this next journey for 2021?
right,
And then what could I teach?" Right? And I
yeah,
think that's where the influence of, hey, let's get a book out. Even, it doesn't have to be 5,000 pages,
no,
right? It can be 20 pages.
yeah, yeah. I actually had a guy that contacted me and said, "I have some poems. I'd like to see if you could publish them." And what he sent me was 5 poems. And I said, what can we do with 5 poems? We were able to create what looks like a children's book and stretched his 5 poems. Each poem is about 3 or more pages. And he was able to tell his stories in these poems. And it's an amazing book now.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is so cool. Okay, here we go. I'm to mentoring moments. This is
Mentoring
our
moment.
compilation from 2019, and
Yeah.
really, I have to tell a little story because we launched this in September of 2019, and that was when I was in a real big transition in my life, and that was when John Maxwell put out one of his Minute with Maxwell's and said, "Hey, if you're going through transition and you need to learn a little bit more wisdom, study the book of Proverbs for 31 days." So, right after this book launch in October, I took it on as a challenge to finish Proverbs for 31 days.
Hmm.
And today we're on 574 days, I think it is. We've continued from that challenge every single day, of consistency. And it all started with, again, changing and challenging your beliefs that what you think you can't do into what you can do. So, anyway, I just tell you that story because, again, putting it into action, thinking about, do you have something to say? Do you
Yeah.
have something you want to do? And then get committed to it, and you can do it. You
Yeah.
can do it.
Yeah, you probably remember the email that I sent you guys in just a month after this book was launched. And I started it out saying, I'm over here boo-hooing, ugly crying, I think I called it. And Melanie's first thing she's telling me, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Before she even finished reading the email, but that was when we were notified that this Mentoring Moments book was a finalist in the Best Book Awards. That's the first book that we ever had any recognition. And you'll see that's what that sticker is on there. It's just amazing that the first book that I ever submitted for an award received recognition, and so that's one of the, I mean, that's one of the greatest joys, is that the work that I'm doing, I feel, is validated every time that we submit. And I've got probably 10 different award or organizations, I guess you might call them, that we use to get our books out there. I don't submit to the same ones every time. And it's just kind of cool to see that our books are getting recognition. It means that our books are meeting standards. Our books are competitive. And when they say that, they got over 2,000 applicants for these awards, and our little company was recognized, it's just amazing to know that.
It is amazing because you wanna work with somebody you do develop and nurture and achieve.
Yes,
That's what you're all about. So
right.
you really do care about the process, and
Yes,
I know some of these books, I still hear the drums. That was a really great one. I know we were talking about at the same time when Mentoring Moments was being released, and so that's a very
yeah.
powerful book.
It is an amazing book. I'll just tell a little bit backdrop on it, that it was about a young girl who was stolen from Africa back in slavery days and was brought on a slave ship to the United States. And the thing that sustained her was hearing the drums in the background, as even as they got farther and farther away, she could still hear those drums. And as Linda Lewis Everett tells the story about this little girl who she takes all the way up through her life, she can still hear those drums through every time they took one of her babies, or every time that they abused her in some way. She listened for those drums. And it's an amazing story, and it's historically correct, even though it's fiction. Amazing story.
It makes you think about the triggers that we have in our life, right? And so many things that just you have to be aware of. And that's what I loved about that story, just kind of reflecting on when I heard it for the first time. I think, how many things do we just not pay attention to, and then something triggers us and it takes us back. So it was so powerful, such a powerful story.
Now, Melanie, these 3 books right here, those are workbooks that I have written, and I use them in my business. And in fact, the middle one there, Enhancing Your Communication DNA, Publishing for Beginners Workbook, I'm actually in the process of writing a book to go along with the workbook. So I did it kind of backwards, really. I did the workbook first, but I had so many people who were asking me, what are the key things I need to know in order to get a book published, whether they self-published it, whether they used a small publishing company like me, or whether they used a traditional big publishing company. They just didn't know what to do. And so I have provided a tool for authors, whether they self-publish, like I said, it doesn't matter. But even if you don't self-publish and use a publisher, you ought to have some basic knowledge, understanding of the publishing process. And so I'm now putting additional detail around each of those chapters for people who really want to understand. And they can take this book, workbook, either one, and make sure that they either are informed as they get their books published, or they could publish them themselves.
That's awesome. You just take care of people, Denola.
That's the nurturing. I do feel that I am a natural nurturer. I feel like it's not about me. It is about trying to provide resources that people can use to be self-sufficient. It goes back to the old thing about teaching a man to fish versus giving him the fish. You want to teach them how to do things on their own.
Absolutely. We've got a lot of comments here. I love this. So I'm just going to share some of these. Michelle Jones is on here. She says, "Hey, ladies."
Hey,
hey, Michelle, you're in
I will say that Michelle Jones is one of our publishing partners. She provides editing services. She provides services for new authors who may not even have written their books yet, but need some help with, okay, let's do a clarity call to determine, what are your goals? What are you trying to achieve? And so generally when people come to me to publish their books, they have their book, their manuscript. If they come to me before then I will work with Michelle to determine what kind of support can we provide to them in order to get them to a point where they're ready for their book to be published. So she's one of our publishing partners. Thank you, Michelle.
And she's awesome. And she has one of her books written, The Desperate Housewives of Biblical Proportions. I was on her journey when she was writing that, and she was a big part of our morning Bible study all the time. We love Michelle.
Amazing book. It's amazing. Just to think that you can go into that level of detail on 5 women in the Bible. And take it not just to read it and understand more, but you can use it for studies. You can use it for all kinds of things. It's a great book. Michelle's a great writer.
She is really a great writer. And so here's a great question for you. So she says, Melba Stetz, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, are all published books about $5,000 from start to finish. Do you want to debunk that theory, or what is your comment to that, Denola?
Well, here's the thing. I like to say that I became a publisher because I fell in love with it. I am retired, so it's not because of the income. Uh, I don't know if you can get a book anywhere other than Enhanced DNA Publishing published for less than $5,000, but you can get one for less than $5,000 published with Enhanced DNA Publishing. One of the things that we do, I don't mind telling my prices. When someone comes to me, I will definitely provide a free consultation um, for anybody, a 30-minute consultation to determine what your goals are, what you're interested in. And in that process, more than likely, I'm going to send you one of our example contracts, and it provides the details. I look at your manuscript to determine, when I look at editing, is it the highest level of editing or is it the starting point of editing? I don't charge everybody the same thing for editing. And so I look at your specific project to determine your costs. And then I tell people, don't share my contract with other people because they may not have the same needs that you have.
Mhm.
And therefore, your price might be different, but each one is customized for the needs. I have a list of the various services that we provide from start to finish. And like I said, it's based on you coming with a completed manuscript. If we have to help you with the development, yes, there will be more costs, but truly the fees for an enhanced DNA publishing book are less than $5,000.
There you heard it, right from Denola's mouth. Your lips to God's ears.
Now, I will say this. I have on my board in my office, I have a list of books that are being published by Enhanced DNA Publishing this year. There are 15 books on that list, not counting the ones that we have already published. So if someone is interested in getting published by our company, you need to get on our list. And we are publishing like 6 months to 9 months in it, out right now. We are not saying, I mean, somebody came to me and said, "Ooh, can I get my book published by the end of the month?" Yeah, you can, but are you willing to pay the price?
Right. Right. That's a great point, right? You can't just demand timing and expect it to be the same price. And I think
Right.
that's really important. We all have timelines, and everybody has been sitting on their laurels through COVID saying, "Okay, I think I have an idea." And so we get excited when we see people like you that say, "Oh my gosh, you can take us through this process in a week." Right?
Yeah.
So, but you have to understand we're all human, right? So there
Right.
is a price for getting the right people on your
Mhm.
team. And
That's
I
right.
would say just gaining consistency on and making your plan,
Mhm.
really being realistic about the process. What would you say is a realistic timeline, Denola, from idea to published? What would you say is a realistic idea for a timeline?
I can't tell you from idea to timeline. I can tell you from manuscript to
There you go.
timeline because,
There you go. That's a better question.
yeah, many people take different amounts of time to write. Some people can write in a month. Some people will take a year to write. So once you get a manuscript, for me, because I am high touch, I'm going to take you through the process if you want to go through the process. If not, if you say, "Hey, I don't have time, I just want you to do it," I'm going to give you a timeline of everything I need, but I can do it in 3 months.
Mhm.
I can do it in 3 months. I like to take between 3 and 6 because I have multiple projects going on. But, I have helpers. Like I said, I have publishing partners. Our business is growing. I was amazed at the number of people who found time to write during the pandemic
Mhm.
and were able to get their thoughts to final completion. And so because of that, we are growing, and some that were writing last year, some that started in January that are still in the process. But yeah, we have quite a bit of activity going on right now. And if you want a book published in 3 months, we can get it done for you in 3 months.
That's awesome. I'm going to bring up one more, and thank you for taking us all the way through all of your books because I think it's really, really important for people to see. I think, am I taking you through the right one? Oh, that's your books again. Let me go back up here because what I wanted to show them was your website. It's actually Enhanced DNA
Uh,
Publishing.
this is the Enhanced DNA Publishing website here. And so these are all of the, if you go to home, yeah,
Mhm.
if you go to home, it'll take you to um, the entire spectrum of books. And every month we highlight an author
Mhm.
and the process for getting published. There's also this one of the blogs that we feature on the website, again, with Michelle Jones, one of our publishing partners. Some of the awards that we have won, just some of the pictures of some of the newer books that we have. We have so many more that we can add in. These are some of the books that we've had. There's Michelle's Desperate Housewives of Biblical Proportions.
Mhm.
But yeah, these are just to scroll through. But um,
That is wonderful.
if someone is interested in a consultation, we do have a Calendly link, and on that page there, there is a link to be able to click on my calendar to schedule a meeting, or you could submit right there where you just were to contact us, and I'll definitely contact. Yeah, there's a contact us button too.
Perfect. Well, my goodness, I am so excited. I hope that we have inspired people tonight, Denola,
I hope so too.
to say, "Get on it," right? Get on it. If
Yeah,
you get something in
yeah.
your heart.
I mean,
Um,
one of the things that I provide through whether it's this workbook or if you want to do it on your own is what I call an what is your author DNA? Kind of keeping along that same theme of DNA, and to really decide, what are your author goals? Do you want to just publish your grandmother's cookbook so you can distribute it at the family reunion? Or are you attempting to be a best-selling author in some field? And
mhm.
once we determine that, then we can put a plan together and help you reach your goals. And I can't make those goals happen. You have work to do, but we will definitely put you in the right direction in order to help you meet those goals. And if it's something I don't know, I'm definitely going to try to find out what it is. I didn't know how to create a cookbook. We have now published a cookbook, so I'm going to do research to find out. I just recently attended the Independent Book Publishing Association conference. It was virtual this year. Sad that it wasn't somewhere beautiful like California or whatever. But it was. I had a meeting with one of the representatives from a company called Book Baby. Have you heard of Book Baby?
Mhm.
It's a self-publishing type book organization, but the young man said that he looked up my website, and as I began to tell him about myself, he says, "I thought you were a bigger company. It's just you?" And I said, "Yeah, it's just me." And so we are now looking at putting together a partnership with Book Baby in order for us to provide even more and better, uh, just bigger things from Enhanced DNA Publishing. And I'm amazed about that somebody would want to seek me out and our company out to provide more services.
Well, I think when you have it in your heart, Denola, like you do, enhanced DNA, and I gotta share this because when you were on my podcast last year, when we were doing audio, you shared that you didn't realize something about the actual acronym of
I
enhanced
did.
DNA. So will you share
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, I started this company when like I said, when I was ready to retire. And I wanted to tie in the DNA thing because I wanted to kind of go back to my roots of science. So
Mhm.
that's where I tried to come up with the acronym Develop, Nurture, and Achieve. And then as I was putting my business plan together, instead of writing out enhanced DNA every time I would want to do something, I used my acronyms and I said DNA, DNA, E DNA. Oh my gosh, that spells Edna. That's my mother's name. I said, my mother was looking down from heaven and feeding that to me, and I didn't even realize it. I mean, I had been in my business for several months or more when I was working on my business plan and realized that spells Edna. Oh
Mm.
my goodness. And that was not by design. It was really about tying in the high deoxyribonucleic acid into my business, not tying in my mother's name. But then when that came up, I said, that was meant to be. It was meant to be.
Mhm.
So
You
that
know,
is
you're
amazing.
on the right journey, right? And I think as we learn so much from our leadership mentors, and when we talk about we do what we view. And so you saw this coming together from way long ago. You didn't know maybe you were going to be a publisher, but you knew you were going to tie in those things that are
Yeah,
within you to help other
right.
people. And you've always just had this nurturing ability, and I absolutely adore you. I am so glad that we could celebrate this time together because, everything that you do, you help people, and that's what we're supposed to do. So I
Yeah,
want to encourage people, if they have something within them that says, "Okay, it's time.
yeah,
It's time. I need to do something about this." You have created all kinds of partnerships with people.
yeah.
So if you have something or have an idea that you could also add value to enhance DNA publishing, get
Please.
that woman
We
right here.
need help. So if you have expertise, please bring it, bring it,
Growing.
bring it.
It is growing, and it's awesome to see your partners. And I just really appreciate you, Denola. I'm so just honored that you came on tonight and we got to share a little bit of time together.
Yeah.
And
Well,
here
yeah.
we've got a couple more comments, so we're excited. So congratulating you
Oh,
on
thank
your collaboration.
you.
Um, and Shane Lucas, let's see. Oh, yes.
Shanae. Hi, Shanae. Shanae is the author of Facing the Darkness. I actually highlighted two books today on social media for my Throwback Thursday. And one of them was Facing the Darkness, and the other was She Became Me. And the reason is because those two books came out a year ago. They were the first two books that were published during the pandemic, and both of those books were recognized for national awards in 2021. No, they were at the end of 2020. So, yeah, they were at the end of 2020. They were both recognized. So, thank you, Shanae, for tuning in. And I see the She Became Me group is on here too. So, thank you so very much for joining.
This is so cool. Yes, and Michelle says, "Right,
Right,
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 right. When? Right now.
right."
Exactly,
You're so right.
exactly.
Oh
Yeah,
my goodness. Well, Denola, thank you again so much for all that you do. Thank you for coming
yeah,
on tonight. And if you have just jumped in here, you can go to enhancedDNApublishing.com and you can check everything out for yourself. And if
yeah.
you have questions, grab a free consultation, schedule some
Mhm.
time with Denola, and
Yeah.
see what that process looks like for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And even if you are an established author, I've talked to a few established authors that are on the call tonight. And I am more than willing to share, things that I have learned to make your processes even better than they are. I'm not trying to hoard information. I mean, I think one of the biggest mysteries is Amazon, and really trying to crack those hot new releases and best book uh, statuses. And I've had consultations with some experienced authors on how to do that, and I've seen success. So congratulations to all of you who are doing it with your books and getting recognition. And I'll be more than happy to talk with any of you.
Ah, Denola, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Again, I love celebrating you because you are somebody that's really made an impact in my life, and I share you with everybody I know. Um, so thank you. And do you have anything else coming up that we should know about?
Well, I always try to highlight our authors in right now what's virtual book launches, and so we do have the two books that were just released are going to do a virtual launch. The Michael Brown, who has the Hats and Cigars, he actually lives in Florida, so we'll do a virtual book launch for that one. But the ladies that wrote the Beautiful Resilience book about the mother's grief, they're going to be doing an in-person launch on May the 8th, Mother's Day, because Mother's Day Saturday,
Mhm.
because many of these women lost children through gun violence, and they would like to recognize that at a time during Mother's Day time. So you'll see, look on Facebook and Instagram on our Enhanced DNA Publishing Facebook page to see when our events are coming up. We'll definitely be highlighting those. One of the things we did back in February was a workshop for anybody. It was virtual, and I think we had 50 people that came to that workshop. We had our publishing partners that did it, and so we're in the process of planning another one, so stay tuned for that.
Ah,
So we've got a lot of stuff coming, and just would love to bring more. So please let us know what kinds of things you would like us to bring.
you heard it here. Get involved. You're right here
Get
in
involved.
Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Yes. So, well, thank you, Denola. Have a great evening. Please come back and keep us updated on your journey. And
Okay.
congratulations to all your success. And I can't
Thank
wait to
you.
have you help me with some more projects. So
Yay! I can't wait either.
get ready. All
Thank
right.
you so much. Thanks, everyone. We really appreciate you.
Have a great night.